it's going to take me a minute. We're live on YouTube, I know. Marshall Hobbs Jr. is with us in the house. And you're having a hot dog and hot link shindig today.
Yes, sir. Giving away some hot dogs and hot links down in LeBlanc Park, across from the Southwest Sub Courthouse. Yeah. Well, yeah. That right there is going to be a good deal. I just finished paying for all the food.
There's a lot of candidates always hang out at the Southwest Sub Courthouse.
And I love them to hang out. Please hang out.
Okay.
Because I don't hang out. I work.
I'm going to edit, post. Is Michelle going to join us or no?
I don't know. She should be. She's working on trying to get a team
party
together.
ready.
Uh-huh.
Well, y'all don't have but a few days. It's, a week.
Yeah, a week, and that week is almost a day.
Y'all bear with me here. I've already got a bunch of y'all's questions. Live. And it is April 26th. We're eating at Zeke's.
I started to put on my black hat today.
Yeah?
But I said, no, let me put on the light hat, because I know my buddy Larry, he's going to have his light hat on. You came out with the black one today.
Yeah, I try to switch it up.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to share this to live videos, messages, neighborhood watch group, political group, and the regular internet. Okay, you want to watch it on this monitor?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, let me see here. I'm going to check the sound. Hello? Watch it on this monitor? Okay. Connie is in, George is in, Brittany's in, Mike is in. Brittany, he is one of my favorite interviews. Good. Right. Connie, Robert. Okay, so I'm going to start with the introduction. Marshall Hobbs Jr. is running for City Council, District 6. That seat was vacated by Dr. Jared Williams.
Yeah.
We interviewed him. I was impressed with. He also had told me, this ain't going to be a lifelong deal. I'm going to be here a little bit, see if I can help. So you've been around for a long time.
Yes, sir.
So tell us your background, Marshall. Missy's in, and y'all shoot me your questions and I'll ask them.
Well, I was born in Houston, raised in Plano, and spent my adult life in Fort Worth. And soon after I got here to Fort Worth, I went to the military at the age of 17. So I'm a veteran. And I've spent my career in the criminal justice field, where I rose from being a juvenile probation parole officer to an adult parole officer to becoming the regional trainer auditor of the Dallas-Fort Worth region in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Parole. And that was a 15-year career, and I came out of that career to go into becoming a professor. In fact, you kind of resemble my professor, Dr. Nair, that taught over at UTA, that thought that I would be a good government professor. So he endorsed me to the 4 different chairs at the 4 different campuses at that time: Northeast, Northwest, Southwest, and also South Campus. And all of them granted me an interview. And when I went to South, which was the first interview, I got hired before even going to the other 3.
Wow.
So that was my start, and then I got picked up by Dallas Community College, and I taught over at Brookhaven College and Eastfield College, and retired out of there around 2022. I retired from them and I've been teaching at TCC Northeast Northwest Campus and Arlington Baptist University, and I work for a security company that is contracted with the federal government. So
what do you teach at the college campus?
Government. Texas government and U.S. government. So it's one of my passions. I've always been involved in government. In 1984, when I came back from active duty, I was blessed to be, introduced and mentored by a lot of great names like that of Mr. Bolin, Miss
Yes.
Granger. Jim Lane was my main mentor. I miss him so today.
Yes.
And Gilly, Murrin, all those guys, supported the things that I was doing because I'm more interested in helping the grassroots, helping people on the grassroots level than hobnobbing with the elites.
I see that our ex-mayor, Mike and Rosie, have endorsed you.
Yes, they have, and I'm very appreciative of that. When I first really got to know Mike Moncrief was when he ran for Senate, and I organized the African American community, those big giants of that time. Reverend Daniels, Reverend Griffin, Reverend McCormick. People want to say I name drop, but man, I dealt with these people. Mr. Bagsby, Leonard Briscoe, all of them were people that had their hand in my life. Mr. DeVoy Jennings, basically raised me as a young adult. It kept me off the streets, man.
He used to come to my boxing and Cowtown programs.
Okay.
He'd get up there and talk with Don Curry and some of the other boxers.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions that has been asked me, the main question, is affordable housing, but they're wanting to know, are these apartments just being thrown up? They're built in 30 or 40 days. What's your take on affordable housing in your district?
Well, this is the interesting thing because I keep my feet on the ground with the people. And I had a conversation with Mr. Jungus, and Mr. Jungus pointed out all the apartments that were being built. And one day I decided to just go out where he was telling me down Chisholm Trail, and I noticed that, man, we do have a proliferation of apartments that are being built. Look, affordable housing is not building more apartments.
Right.
In fact, if you look at it, the apartment rent is more than purchasing a home. I'd rather develop a financial literacy program to help people learn how to, one, deal with their finances. Man, I had a bankruptcy due to the COVID.
Yes.
And because of the pandemic, I went into this bankruptcy, and man, they had a program where you had to go through. It's very educational. And man, I learned so much. I know how to deal with my money. I make it and I spend it. But it taught me how to manage it.
Sure.
And there's a different way of doing your finances rather than just making it and spending it. It's more about managing your money, etc. So I really appreciate the fact that I had to go through that bankruptcy process. And I think that young people like myself, I wouldn't say I'm young, I'm 60 now. But, if I had this education earlier, I would have been able to afford to purchase me a home and maybe have several homes now rather than purchasing, these small homes, selling them and making a little money off of it. But I don't think that smart development is multifamily homes that you rent.
Right.
I think that smart development is developing, multifamily that you own. Townhomes, those fourplexes, etc. Those are the type of development that we need in order to create homeowners, not renters, because renters don't have a stake in the community. And the people of District 6 want homeowners, they don't want renters. And we don't need any more apartments going up. Yeah, we have multifamily for seniors, but those seniors, they live their life. And they should live nice. in a place that, but that is not affordable housing. Affordable housing is educating our people on how to be able to purchase a home,
yes,
and then build them a home, or either a town home or a condo, you know, with mixed use development, and no more multifamily. You know, one of my opponents, she touts that she's been on the zoning board, but on the zoning board, she caused this congestion in our district. You can't get around anywhere. They didn't even think about, you know, infrastructure in by being ahead of the development that is coming into the area, the growth that is coming into the area. Man, golly, they have been working on, Mr. Jarrett had been working on getting a light at Hewlin Parkway and Alta Mesa going into Tavallo development area or neighborhood area for 3 years. That's unacceptable. I would definitely go to Mr. Chopper and say, Mr. Chopper, what in the heck is going on? Can we get these Public Works? Go to Public Works, the director of Public Works, and say, hey, what's going on? We need a light here. And we also need the engineers to figure out a way how we can be able to widen these roads or make some type of auxiliary way for people to move around instead of having all that traffic. We don't even have a light at the corner of Risanger and Summer Creek,
wow,
which is very dangerous. Yes. I go through that area all the time, and man, we have a hard... Look, we need good, smart development, okay? I have a master's in public administration where a part of my master's of public administration is regional planning and development, you know, and we need good, smart development. We need somebody in office that know how to work with those behind the scenes that will work with you in order to get it done. I believe that I can have a good relationship with Mr. Chopper. And I believe that I can have a good relationship with the director of Public Works and also Parks. But we need our developers that are coming in here. They need to work with us.
Yes.
Not us working with them, because we have value over here.
Yes, we do.
They can't build in Dallas anymore.
No.
The only place that they can build is over here in Fort Worth. And if you want to come to Fort Worth, you're going to have to deal with us Fort Worth people in the Fort Worth way.
Yes. So another question or another topic. When I had Ken Bowens Jr., I love that guy. He's passionate. He was telling me at some of in his area, some of the convenience stores have those one-armed bandits.
Okay.
And people hanging out. Does your district have that? Just
I'm
people
not
loitering out?
Well, I tell you, I had a person in the district that sent me a text message asking me about the homelessness issues and things like that in our area, the panhandling.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be frank with you. I'm gonna get with Mr. Chopper, and I'm gonna get with our chief of police, and I'm gonna get with those who are involved, the stakeholders involved, and we're going to make it very clear. You're not going to panhandle in our area, and you're not going to, live off of the streets here in our district. We're going to take you off the streets, and we're going to place you where you need to be placed, and we're going to find some resources for you to use. Now, if these nonprofit organizations that say that they're dealing with homelessness, man, they've been dealing with homelessness since forever, and they still haven't solved the problem, but they still milking the taxpayers out of their doggone money, talking about they dealing with the homeless problem. If they don't stop the homeless problem in our district and the panhandling in our district, I will stop their funding right away in my district, and I will make sure that whoever is not doing their job is off the job to get the job done.
I've told them at city council, I can fix the homeless problem. They said, how? In less than 30 days. How? Take the night shelter, all of those shelters on Lancaster, put them at 6300 Camp Bowie Boulevard, and it's fixed overnight.
You absolutely. But see, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. They don't want the problem to go away because they lose their funding.
Yes.
Nonprofit organizations are milking our taxpayers' dollars on a basically a lie dealing with your emotions. Oh, those poor people and all that kind of stuff. It's not about those poor people. A lot of those people that are homeless because either they have some type of mental illness or drug problem, and drug problem is a mental illness, by the way, or either they just want to opt out of life. They don't want responsibilities of taking care of a home. They don't want responsibilities of getting up and going to work every day. So therefore, giving money to them is actually enabling them in order to continue. I'll give you an example. My former wife and I went to go eat at Bob's Steakhouse. And I kept my steak and a piece of the potato and everything like that so I can take home to eat for lunch. Okay? And my wife at that time was one of those bleeding heart individuals. And she saw this lady in the water park. We went to the water gardens. And she was laying there with all of her stuff. And she said, we ought to just give her our stuff. I said, no, I'm not. Actually, they get 3 meals a day.
Sure.
And I'm not going to give my steak that I spent $50 on, my hard-earned money, to somebody that can get up and go to work or go do something. And in fact, this is a travesty that the city will allow people to hang out on our doggone property like that and enabling them to continue to be in that condition. I think that's heartless. I think what you need to do is give a person a hand up. Jesus told the blind man that was sitting there that wanted to get into the water, he said, take up your bed and walk.
Yes.
He didn't just go over there and give him something. He made him get up and walk. And that's what we need to do with a lot of people today. Hey, my sons ended up becoming good, productive citizens. I got one son that is a coach over at North Crowley High School, football coach, assistant football coach at North Crowley High School. Got his master's degree, married, and have my granddaughter, Ari. And then I got my other son that's over at SMU working on a business, real estate, and finance degree, and working for a subcontractor for General Motors. They are productive citizens. But listen, they had to live with me from 7th grade all the way until they graduated from high school, and I gave them tough love.
Sure.
You got to have tough love. You got to love a person enough to tell them the truth.
Sure. And
not enabling them and babying them where it continued to be a plight on our district. We got homes that are at minimum $300,000 and above over in that district, minus all these crazy apartment complexes that are being built, and that's going to stop on day one when I get in office. I guarantee you that, because I'm not going to have somebody on zoning that's going to allow that. We can look at multifamily as it pertains to condos and townhomes, but we're not going to talk about it as far as renting. Renting is not it, and that is what attracts that type of people into your district. That's what brings crime to your district, because those people are transit. They come in and they go out, and they cause a lot of trouble, and we don't want that kind of trouble in our district.
This new ordinance that's just been passed, they put the signs up, no panhandling. So what if somebody's out there panhandling? Do the police come and arrest them?
Well,
and where do they take them?
Well, that right there, I would have to find out, because I've noticed those new signs go up, but a sign doesn't do nothing if you're not enforcing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like telling you, don't touch this particular item, but if they touch it and you don't do anything about it, then they're going to keep touching.
Like some of our political draw a line in the sand, and that doesn't work.
No. Effective enforcement and consequences change behavior.
Yes.
I have plenty of guys. When I stopped working for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, I would go to the grocery store or something like that, and somebody would yell out my name, Mr. Hobbs. And I look around, and for a while I had to kind of be careful, because I locked up a lot of people. Okay? And most of the time, whenever they call out my name, Mr. Hobbs, you remember me? No, I kind of remember you. And he says, well, you sent me to Safe Pete. And you know what? That was the best thing you ever did to me, because I was going down the wrong road. And when you told me you do what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, I'm surely going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I sent him straight to Safe Pete, and he got his life back together. And the guy's working for the city in the water department. I can just name countless of young men that I helped get off of parole, and it's through tough love. You got to give consequences, and you got to follow through with the consequences. See, liberal people believe in big government. They believe in taxing you in order to pay for a whole bunch of programs that are not going to do anything but make those individuals richer in these nonprofit organizations. And then they're going to try to regulate people that are out here trying to do the job the right way. So I'm going to flip that script. We're going to do it a conservative way. You can live your life the way you want to live your life, but we're not going to overtax you, and we're going to use the money to pay for essential services that are necessary for our district, and then we're going to enforce the law. When we create the law, it is there to enforce. And I'm not going to be apologetic in doing the job in which the people are voting me into office to do. And that is to take care of the community so that we can have a good quality of life. Everybody want a better quality of life. I want a better quality of life. And the only way you're going to do that is that you got to stick to the law. And you got to follow the rules. I followed the rules. I made some mistakes in life, but at the same time, I learned from those mistakes, and I ended up being the person that I am today because of it. I'm not going to make no excuses. I'm going to be transparent. When you call me, I'm going to respond to you, and I'm going to do whatever I can in order to adhere to whatever you asking me to do. If it's to meet with Mr. Chopper, if it's to meet with the fire chief, it's to meet with the police chief, if it's to meet with the mayor or anybody look, I believe in working with those who work with me. If you're not going to work with me in order to help District 6, then you might need to elect the same old that we've been having and getting nothing. I am the change candidate. We have a grassroots campaign. We have a broad coalition of individuals, poor, rich, white, black, Hispanic, Democrat, Republican, Independent. We got wealthy and the poor all working together in order to try to get me elected to this office. We are the change candidate in this campaign, and we have the greatest grassroots of all of the candidates in the city of Fort Worth. I guarantee you that.
Early voting stops on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing, it ends on the 29th, and that was my deceased brother's birthday that died during the COVID.
Wow.
So I'm hoping he's looking down on me, and everybody on the 29th they go out and vote for me. I hope that you're doing it because my brother put that in your spirit.
So Saturday is the final day.
Yes.
You can vote wherever, any election polling place.
Right.
7 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we? Everybody's real responsive. He's so right. Very impressive. We need to have oversight committees for those nonprofits.
Yeah. We need to open the books.
I don't understand how people can afford to rent anymore. You're exactly right. When somebody is buying their own home, that's theirs.
Yeah.
And they're proud of it. They're going to keep that yard up. They're going to do everything it takes. And so instead of throwing money at people, we need to have I've said forever, a program where we're going to help a little bit until you can do it all on your own. But you got to produce.
Well, it's two things that you just mentioned. One is that I don't believe in a citywide police review board. We're not going to go in and tell the police how to operate. I don't believe in that.
Okay.
But what I am going to institute on day one is a police fire review and advisory board where they can advise me on the things that are going on in the district. I want the police officers, MPOs, and I want the fire to come to us, and I appoint a board from the district of people from the neighborhoods to sit down and listen to what the issues are as it pertains to crime, as it pertains to fire, etc. And then now I know exactly how I need to go to Mr. Chopper or those leaders in order to get things done. This is a mayor-manager form of government, and I understand that. And most of the daily operations are through the city manager's office. So therefore, I need to have a very good relationship with Mr. Chopper.
Yes.
In order to get the things done in District 6. All right? Look, I take the area like that of Overton South. Very nice, beautiful neighborhood. And they have a little older homes. But I think that we should have some type of program to help those older homes where they can get new windows, where they can get their plumbing fixed if they need the plumbing fixed. If they need the electrical, upgraded, landscaping, all that, to bring their houses up so that they can be more proud of their community. I see people when I walk inside that community, how proud they are of their homes.
Sure.
They don't want to move into something new, but they don't want to be forgotten. You know, it's kind of like that movie where the woman says, you're not going to ignore me. No, I'm not going to ignore Overton Park, Overton and South, and I'm not going to overlook any community like that of Como. I mean, I just saw that Tim O'Hare was getting nonprofits that were actually helping to fix up their homes. I want to do the same thing for our district. I want to see results. I'm a result-oriented individual. You give me an assignment, I want to see that assignment done and make sure that we get results out of it. I'm not going to give you talking points, giving you what you want to hear. I'm going to give you exactly the authentic Marshall Hobbs that you see right here on this show. If you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. I don't have anything in my background that I'm ashamed of. I've done everything I could to try to become a productive citizen in this society. So therefore, I am qualified for this position. And then when I get elected, I'm going to bring that same common sense to the city council. I'm not going to be interested in spending $230 million. $230 million on a building. How many streets we could have fixed?
Yeah.
How many lights we could have put out?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, Larry.
Yeah.
What are these politicians doing? Running around drinking wine, eating cheese in these book clubs, thinking they know better than everybody else. We are the people that are living on the streets. And basically, I am expressing what the people of District 6 is feeling right now. And I feel like it's going to be a groundswell of people coming out on May the 3rd to vote to make sure that Marshall Hobbs is downtown, their man downtown.
You're impressive, I can tell you that. These politicians that don't miss any of the black tie events and fancy drinks and all of that.
Yeah.
I'd rather have somebody that drives by and say, you got a water leak on, let me help you turn that water off.
That's right. In fact, I had this lady, when I was walking, she was trying to get up on her little ladder to clip her bushes. And I didn't want to startle her or anything. I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't want to startle you. Would you like me to clip that for you? She said, oh, no, I don't need you to help me right now. I need you to keep doing what you're doing because you're going to be our councilman.
Good. Yeah, we need representation. And you were right. It's not the Fort Worth way. We're just laid back over here. I had a guy come in here one day and said, y'all are a bunch of country bumpkins. And I said, we're proud of it.
That's right.
He said, I want something fast moving. I said, 32 miles to the east.
That's right. And that's the reason why we are the golden city on the hill where the Panther lies in Tarrant County. We are strong without having to say too much of anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. We start a little earlier, move a little slower, but we know everybody.
That's right.
I've always told people, if you're at Boomer Jack's at Montgomery Plaza and you screw up somehow or drunk, out of order, in an hour it's at Kincaid's on Cambui.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, we got a bunch of busybodies, but that keeps our nose to the grind, and let's get this thing rolling.
Well, you know, the one thing I love about Fort Worth is culture. And I want to maintain our culture as we grow. If you come to Fort Worth, you're going to come to a hometown that is a big city.
Yes.
All right? But we are not going to be a Dallas.
Nope.
I don't want a Dallas.
Nope.
In fact, we're better than Dallas.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the kind of message that I'm going to be pushing, especially for District 6, because I want people to come to District 6 and enjoy District 6. You're going to come to District 6 and see, you know, Las Colinas development. You're going to see Frisco type development that, you know, is good for the people and not for the big downtown donors.
Okay, one of our members just asked, and this has been a big issue with me in the past, I'm not talking about now, but in the immediate past, do you think that other districts get passed over? Minority districts?
Well, I tell you this. As a professor of government, one of the things that I have noticed is that because Black America do not understand our system of government, and they have been indoctrinated to believe it is Democrat and Republican rather than based on your values. I left the Democratic Party because not only did it abandon the values of conservatism, of limited government, limited taxation, and limited regulation on businesses and the people. In other words, what I mean is that I'm not going to mandate nothing on you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what is necessary in order to provide those services in which I'm responsible for, which is the essential services, police, fire, EMS, and trying to attract development to the area to broaden the tax base so that I can lower the tax rate below Dallas and the surrounding areas, and also increase tax exemption for our seniors so they can get some relief. You know, it doesn't make any sense that next to a $300,000 house is grandma's $45,000 house that just the appreciation just went up to $150,000.
Exactly.
And so she's paying more taxes. She's not getting a relief. So therefore, I believe in doing that. I'm not just going to use a talking point. Oh, we cut taxes 4% in Fort Worth, but heck, not everybody benefited from that 4% tax rate decrease. So I'm going to work with people like Rick Barnes, who I know is a good friend, and we can have very good conversation, and he's endorsing me 100%. You know, what is happening is that when you get on these Democrat and Republican side, that's all you're doing is being divided and fighting against each other. I have values, and that value is what I just mentioned in conservatism. I'm not a liberal. I don't want big government. I don't want heavy regulation on businesses and the people. I don't want, high taxes like Betsy Price did when she came in talking about we have to wear a mask and talking about we have to get the vaccine and close down your church and close down your business. That is not conservative. How is that conservative? And you say you're a Republican? No, a conservative is a person that has a value in limited government, limited taxation, and limited regulation. But also, we got to consider this. I have beliefs, and I believe in God. And I'm sorry. I believe a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and marriage should be between a man and a woman. I stand on that 10 toes down. I tell you that I'm not, you can live your life, be whoever you want to be. But the government is not going to pay for your abortion.
No, or sex change.
Or sex change. We're not going to do that. That's not the government's responsibility. If you want to do that, do it. We'll allow you to do it. I'll regulate that doctor that's willing to do that unethical act. I'll make sure that he don't kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I understand that when a woman is in a situation of rape, incest, or anything like that, or losing her life due to the birth of a baby, yeah, the doctor is going to have to do something about it. I don't think that he should be penalized for that.
No.
But just you electively, I can't get no elective surgery. I would like my nose to look better. But you think my insurance company going to pay for it?
No.
No, they're not going to pay for it. So why we as a government should pay for you to get an abortion or to have your sex change? And I'm not going to be on the city council talking about boys can go in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah.
Those are beliefs that I don't believe in. And you talking about taking God out of the square? Hey, you can believe in Islam. You can believe in any other religion you want to believe in. But I'm a Christian. And this government is based off of majority rule. And if the majority of Christians out here believe in their faith, it is nothing wrong with having the 10 Commandments displayed inside of the doggone county courthouse or even the city hall. God doggone, I didn't mean to get mad on that.
You're right, though. Somebody just said, when you're elected, is this a stepping stone to another position?
All right. Let me explain something to you. I'm 60 years old. I was looking at retirement 2 years from now. I was ready to sit back. I've lived my life of service. But when Miss Bivens gave me a call, one of my seniors that I respect, that I've known from a child, I call her Michelle because that's what I know her by. I don't call her Gina. I know her by Michelle. And Michelle called me and asked me if I would be interested in running because she knew that my registration is in Como and I was a precinct chair. So therefore, I looked at the district. I talked to my family. My daddy prayed over me. And I decided that I could actually win this race because I'm walking in with a base. And that base is a conservative base. And that conservative base need a champion. And I need every conservative to go out there to believe in limited government, limited taxation, and limited regulation on their businesses and themselves to go out and vote for Marshall Hobbs. Now, they trying to play a lot of tricks out there. One of my opponents is endorsed by the POA. I never said that the POA was corrupt. What I said is disingenuous for my opponent to be sending out literature to conservatives, making like that she is a conservative when she ran as a commissioner as a Democrat that holds the BLM values, that talked about defunding the police. But the police endorse somebody that has been in criminal justice law enforcement for over 20 some odd years? What is that all about? I don't know if that's corrupt or not. Maybe you need to answer that question. But I think it's disingenuous. Everybody else, Crane, Maddie Parker, everybody that is endorsed by the POA has 4x4 signs all over the district. But you don't see not one sign over the district for Mia Hall. Not one. Why? Because she know that the black vote will not vote for her if she is endorsed by the POA, who got rid of Mr. Fitzgerald, who is bringing community policing to the district and trying to get rid of corruption. But see, I understand as a black executive, if you start going down the wrong road, they hired you. They also can fire you. But he got millions of dollars in order to settle that lawsuit. And now the city of Fort Worth is having to pay for something that was uncommon sense. That's all they needed to do was have common sense. The Craig situation was a bad situation. I'm sorry for Miss Craig. And I'm not speaking on her after she's gone from this earth. But at the same time, she had problems with her kids. They had problems with constant calls with the police on her. And she wasn't taking care of her children. Parents should be responsible for their children.
Amen. What do you think about the hiring? I'm a firm believer of our superintendent, our chief of police, whatever. We need to hire within. We don't need $100,000 to a headhunter company to bring somebody in from Van Nuys, California.
Right.
Our kids are different than kids out there.
Right.
Our people are different than than people in that district. So I hope that we can go and get somebody that surely, I think that speaks for our departments and our superintendents. If we don't have somebody that's been there 15, 20 years that can handle that job, we're not doing a good job.
Well, that's very true. It's just like education. How do you have kids go through 12 years of school and they can't read past the 3rd grade level?
You're exactly right.
Right now you got teachers afraid to even teach because now the kids are assaulting the teachers and they protecting the doggone kids. No, that's not supposed to work that way. In fact, I got 2 individuals that running against me that's on the school board. Why didn't they just stay on the school board and fix the problem?
Yep.
If they did such a good job and they're going from a low rating to a high rating, then why aren't they there in order? That's the reason why I say I'm about results. I believe in outcomes. Once I set the goal, then we need to get outcomes. That's the reason why on day 1, I'm going to try to gather the district together to come up with a strategic plan. And we're going to prioritize those things that need to be done, just like Miss Granger did with Visions 2000. I'm going to call it Visions 2035 for District 6. So we know exactly what all the neighborhoods, and we're going to prioritize it for everybody. And we're going to have a plan for Marshall Hobbs to go down to City Council to work on. And I'm going to check in at least twice, if not once a month, in order for the people to come together and I give them a report on what I am doing in order to achieve those goals from that strategic plan. And I don't intend to stay in office. That's not my intention. My job is just to do what the people are asking me to do. I'm giving my service once again. I don't need any money. And I'm not looking for a higher position. The only position that I ever ran for was City Council because it's nonpartisan. Right. That way I can work for the people, not for the party. And, I vote Republican. That's what I had to tell Mr. Kennedy. Don't be putting Republican in front of my name. I'm either Mr. Hobbs, Professor Hobbs, or Pastor Hobbs. That's who I am, but I'm not Republican. In the state of Texas, if you're educated enough, you know that we don't register in parties. You know how a person, where they're aligned based on how they vote. I vote Republican because right now the Republicans are sharing the values and beliefs that I hold. The Democrats once held them, but they didn't anymore.
They didn't take care of business.
No, they didn't take care of business. They ain't take care of business now. They talk about me going bankrupt. They just went bankrupt. So what about that? And misguiding running over there making our people more dependent on government?
Yeah, no, that's
no. We don't need no more government. We need less government. And that's what I'm running on.
Okay, one of the last things I want to touch on here. I watched the commissioners meeting, the city council meetings, the school board meetings. It's a circus. Mm-hmm. We're not getting anything accomplished with people up there hollering at different city council members or county commissioners or having to be escorted out of the building. And you've got a time limit. I understand the time limit. But if you would spend your time addressing the issue that you're up there about and trying to work with somebody instead of screaming and hollering, that screaming and hollering ain't getting us nowhere. These riots, these protests. I watched one yesterday in California. They've got an entire 8-lane road stopped.
That's not right. That's not right.
Vote the person that did whatever they're doing. It was over the immigration deal about deporting people. If you don't like that, you should have voted for another president.
That's right. And see, our system is based on majority rule.
Yes.
The majority of the people rule. That's why our system is based on the idea of a democracy, ruled by the people through participation by voting. First, you got to participate because we, the people, rule, not those people downtown.
That's right.
Okay? And the reason why you're frustrated is because you're allowing downtown people to get people in office that is doing the bidding of the downtown people rather than the people in your district.
Right.
You're electing people that are on. They talk about the Democratic Party and talking about the Republicans are the oligarchs. No, the Democrat Party is the oligarchs. There are more rich people in the Democrat Party than you really realize. And those rich people, if you looked at before Donald Trump got elected, Zuckerberg, Bezos, all of them, Bill Gates, all of them were voting Democrat and supporting Democrats against their personal interests.
Right. When he got elected, they're first to get down to Mar-a-Lago now.
Yeah, because now they want to. They understand limited government.
Right.
But see, when you have a system that is trying to make people dependent on government, going to work for, say, look, getting welfare is not just being dependent on government. Getting grants from the government is welfare. Corporations that get money from the government and any benefit from the government is welfare. I don't believe in corporate welfare, and I don't believe in individual welfare if there is not merit involved in it. You got to have the merit in order to receive anything from the government, and you better deliver on what you saying that you're going to do. All these nonprofits are doing nothing but making each other rich. They never come off the dole, and everybody is making over $100,000 a year. Administrators in all these government agencies making over $100,000 a year. They are dependent on government. We got to get people off the crack. We need to get them off of government, and we need to start focusing on the essential things of government in each level. On the school board, you need to start producing people graduating from high school that can read. On the city council, you need to start fixing the streets and making sure that we have adequate police officers and firefighters. On the county level, you need to make sure we have good streets, good sheriff department, and a good doggone jail system. On the state level, we need to make sure that those local governments are doing what they are giving them the authority to do under the Dillon's rule. And our federal government needs to stay the heck out of our life and protect our borders, protect our national interests, and support states during times of crisis and war. If you understand government, you understand it that way. And we don't need a whole bunch of oligarchs, rich people, making us divided, Democrat and Republican, fighting against each other, and nothing is getting done for the people, but they are sitting back getting rich, and they are nothing but one coin on either side, and they both friends. They both went to school together, and they both sloshing money around amongst each other. That's the reason why the downtown folks don't want me. Yeah. It's because they know I'm going to use common sense and you can't buy me. So I'm not looking for no higher position, and I'm not looking in order to get rich by getting a job of $20-something thousand a year. I'm having to give up TCC or one of my other jobs in order to do this city council thing. I am not doing this for me. I'm doing it for the people. It's this whole race. From the beginning, I began to realize it's larger than Marshall Hobbs. It's more about the people of the district, and that's what I want to do, is try to help our district and make the government work for them.
Last question, last topic. The deaths in the jail. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, I had Mr. Rayburn Sheriff Rayburn come to my class to speak to my class. And one of my students asked that hard question. And I was so proud of Mr. Rayburn and the way that he answered it, because he broke it down factually. Just think about it. Most of those people that end up going to jail already have some type of problem. They strung out on drugs. And you're talking about once they go to jail, you know they got to go through withdrawals, right?
Right.
That in itself, I seen a friend of mine that was an alcoholic, and he can't get off of alcohol, because if he get off of alcohol, he pretty much gonna die.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so they're already coming in there with health problems. And if you know the system of how many people that they have to deal with with their illnesses, I mean, people gonna die. I'm sorry, but it's not the sheriff's fault. It's the people that got locked up and got in the situation that they're in fault. They have health problems, and when they go to jail, those health problems exacerbate, and we do the best that we can in order to deal with those issues. So I believe Sheriff Wayburn is doing a good job. I'm sorry that people are dying in jail, but you know what can you do?
So we hired a jail administrator. I thought that was suspicious myself. So in other words, they're throwing that out there to appease the press and the people that are on everybody about the jail deaths. What is he doing that's any different than the way the jail's being run right now?
Well, I think what it is that the consultants always try to tell leaders what they should and should not do. I think Mr. Wayburn should just do as he did in my class and start talking to the people. Come to your show.
I've had him on many times.
Yeah, I mean, go out into the public and do his own PR campaign on telling them and showing them exactly what's going on. The more people know, the easier your job is, because then everybody know.
Sure.
And be transparent. Sure. Not giving talking points. Oh, this, I'm gonna this. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
What I am going to do is I'm gonna work with those who work with me in order to make sure that I get the outcomes and the results that the people of District 6 are looking for.
Marshall, another great interview, sir. I just have to tell you, the reviews through the roof again.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I want to tell everybody I really appreciate it. I mean, straight down to my heart. God is in control of this. I want you to come out and meet me. I'm giving away hot dogs and hot links down in LeBlanc Park on Granbury Road across from the Southwest Sub Courthouse. I'm the type of person that remember how, you know, the big guys, Jim Wright and all them used to have big old barbecues for everybody. I want to bring that down home feeling back.
Yeah.
You know, I love feeding people.
Sure.
It's just something about feeding people. So if you want to come and meet me and come and talk to me, even if you see me at the store on the corner, I'm going to stop and talk to you, because I think that you are valued. So please vote Marshall Hobbs, District 6. I want to be your man downtown.